The chilled expanse of Frobisher Bay sees the start of the royal family's extensive tour of Canada's Northwest Territories and Manitoba. Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau flew in to join the local Eskimo community for a simple welcome ceremony. In place of the usual military pageant, Her Majesty is greeted by a guard of honour of brownies, typical of the informality which allowed the Queen to meet the local people, much as she did on her previous tour in Australia and New Zealand. At first, the Eskimos seemed a little overawed by the occasion, but the relaxed atmosphere generated by the royal party soon helped them to overcome their shyness. Here, the Duke of Edinburgh and Prince Charles examine a kayak presented to them. The royal family was dressed for a spring day in Britain, but it had turned much colder than expected, so the gifts of beautifully embroidered parkas were more than usually welcome. For one stage of the journey across the frozen Arctic, Prince Charles took the controls. He and his father were making a special trip to Ray Point, the most northerly oil prospecting base in the Northwest Territories. A hardy and hazardous life for the oil men who work here, but beneath these bleak landscapes lie vast deposits of natural resources as yet virtually untapped. The Queen had hoped to see the midnight sun, and although there was heavy cloud, the royal party did have frequent glimpses of breathtaking sunsets from their aircraft. One of the most exciting stops was at Yellowknife, a community which first came into prominence with the gold rush of 1934. The town's flanked by some of the richest gold deposits in Canada. Strong winds had disarrayed the carpet, but no one seemed in the least perturbed. Princess Anne lost no time in making friends with the local Indian girls. Gold mining is still vital to the economy of Yellowknife, and the royal visitors chatted with some of the 49ers before going inside the Con gold mine. The Queen was obviously fascinated by the business of making gold ingots. The first gold bar produced in the Northwest Territories was made here in 1938. Her Majesty found it a bit difficult to lift this 40-pound slab, worth far more than its weight. Following the course of the Great Slave River, the next stop was at Fort Smith, where the royal family joined the fun at a barbecue. Among the delicacies on offer were buffalo on the spit and corn on the cob. The royal tour marked the 100th anniversary of the joining of the Northwest Territories and Manitoba to Canada. And everywhere the Queen and her family were able to see at first hand the preservation of traditions established by the early frontiersmen. They also had to face some of the hazards of life in this neck of the woods. The inhabitants of Fort Providence face a continual menace from swarms of black flies and mosquitoes. For protection, both the Queen and Princess Anne donned trouser suits, and the royal family had all smeared themselves with insect repellent.